The Blue Jackets are in Western Canada to kick off a stretch of 3 games in 4 nights. It all begins tonight in hockey's heartland. From Northern Alberta, Edmonton, Columbus, it's live and straight ahead only on Fox Sports Ohio. Welcome to Rexall Place in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where tonight, for the second time in 6 games, the Columbus Blue Jackets meet the Edmonton Oilers. Now, 6 days ago, on Friday the 13th, the Blue Jackets needed overtime to beat the Edmonton Oilers. Tonight, I come to you from right behind the net in Wayne Gretzky's office, where the Jackets hope some of that luck from Friday the 13th stretches 2,000 miles here to Edmonton. Why do they need the luck? Well, the last 4 meetings here between these two teams in this building have gone Edmonton's way in a big way. They've outscored the Jackets 19-7 in those last 4 meetings here in this building. So, Jeff Rimmer, if I could do something about it from my position right here, I would, but I'm not wearing skates, so I can't. I'll throw it upstairs to you.
And thanks, Dave. Good evening, everybody. Jody Shelley will join us here shortly. A little under the weather, but he's going to be a gamer, and he will join me here in the next few minutes. But pinch hitting, and we're happy to have John Davidson, President of Hockey Operations, join us. And John, we thought it'd be fitting to talk about these final 13 games in a 3-game road trip. What do you expect from your hockey club?
Oh, I want us to play well. I want us to play hard, Jeff. We've got some players like Ryan Murray back in the lineup. I'd love to see him finish the season strong, as he hasn't played very much. And you never know in the future, that may lead to playing in the World Championships. Who knows? Boone Jenner's skating with us again. Maybe, just maybe, he'll be playing for us before this trip is out. Probably not in Vancouver, possibly in Calgary. But I want effort. I want to see Dano and Wenberg keep going the way they've been going, playing with Hartnells. Things along those lines.
All right, speaking of Dano and Wenberg, they've got the ageless veteran playing with them. Don't judge me by my birth certificate. In fact, Scott Hartnell was Player of the Week, and these 3 players have developed some chemistry.
Yeah, they really have, and I enjoy watching it. You know, Scotty Hartnell's really playing well. I hope he buys those 2 young guys dinner after what they've been able to achieve in the last few weeks. I think the 2 players have made Scotty feel younger and want to play hard. And then, of course, he has the experience and showing them the ropes. Some beautiful play here by Dano across to Hartnell. Hartnell knows how to get to the front of the net. Those are 3 good players that have found some chemistry. That could be a line for a long time to come. Who knows? But it's a lot of fun to watch.
And congratulations to Hartnell. He was Player of the Week last week. He scored 5 goals, and he's riding a goal-scoring streak into this one here tonight. You mentioned Boone Jenner. He's on the trip. That's great to see. We've got some video of him here today at Rexall Place practicing, and that's a great sign to see this young guy back. He's been out for far, far too long.
Yeah, I saw him yesterday on the aircraft, and I said, "Who's that new guy back there?" And it was Boone Jenner, and he was excited just to be with the guys on the trip. He really is one of those guys, when we see him play, his work habits are so good, he drags players into the game sometimes. Well, he practices like that, too. Coaches are very happy with his progress. Training staff and doctors very happy with his progress. There's a possibility, as I just mentioned, that he may be playing in Calgary.
All right, let's talk now about goaltending. Bobrovsky will go tomorrow night in Vancouver. Tonight, Curtis McElhinney, who played his very first game against the Oilers, and here in his career, he's 4-0.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you look at records, you wonder what's going on. McElhinney, with his record against Edmonton, is very good. He's given us a number of good games. He's really one of those goalies, when he hasn't played for a while, he steps in and plays well. Bobrovsky tomorrow night in Vancouver, and I suspect Bobrovsky in Calgary. This game here is 2 teams for sure that are out of the playoffs. Vancouver and Edmonton in the hunt. Pardon me, Vancouver and Calgary in the hunt. I'd like to see our team play well in all 3 games.
All right, thanks for this, JD. Thanks for pinch hitting and coming out of the bullpen.
I hope Jody's okay. I hope he's okay.
Well, we're getting set the second and final game between these 2 teams. The Columbus Blue Jackets and the Oilers. Will the Oilers be looking to avenge an overtime and shootout defeat? The opening faceoff is next.
Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by First Financial Bank. Another step on the path to success. By IGS Energy. Take control of your natural gas and energy costs and enroll today at IGSenergy.com. And by Nationwide. At Nationwide, we put members first. To find a local agent, visit Nationwide.com. Nationwide is on your side. Jackets, tonight we join you from Rexall Place in the Alberta capital of Edmonton. The Blue Jackets set to begin their 3-game Western Canadian road swing. And it's Curtis McElhinney between the pipes, as we mentioned. McElhinney making his first appearance since the 7th of March against Colorado. Played just a period after giving up 3 first-period goals, 2 of them on the power play. He is 4-0 in his career against these Oilers, who will start Ben Scrivens. Scrivens, the starting and losing goaltender 5 nights ago at the game at Nationwide Arena. Our officials tonight: Brad Watson, Kendrick Nicholson, Mark Wheeler, Michel Cormier are the linesmen. Jackets wearing their traveling whites, and they will be without a late scratch. Brendan Dubinsky out with an upper body injury. More on that in the next few minutes. Oilers in their home blues. Jody Shelley has joined me, and he's a trooper.
That's some fun here in Edmonton, Jeff.
Bouncing puck, shoveled in there by Gordon. McElhinney, 4-0 in his career against the Oilers. In fact, made his debut against this Edmonton Hockey Club. A wraparound attempt, and it just went over top of the net. Oilers from a sharp angle. McElhinney again forced to make a stop. Oilers looking to start quickly here, Jody.
Yeah, that's Gordon. He's a hard-working guy. No-nonsense attitude. So right there, he wanted to bring that puck to the net. Bounced over it. Lucky for the Blue Jackets.
Dano sends one in, and it's covered up by Scrivens.
Let's take a look at that last play. Opening face-off. Here's Gordon. He's a big, strong guy. Right-handed shot. He knows where the net is. He knows what he wants to do with that puck, and he finds enough room. Take it all the way from the behind the net. And a good opportunity there for Edmonton first shift.
Face-off will come to Scrivens' left. Jackets looking to pick up their first win here in Edmonton since January of 2010 from the draw. Atkinson unable to pull the trigger. The shot was blocked. Pouliot on the left wing. Jackets clear the zone at Savard, sending it to center. Left bomb just drilled there by Johansson. Atkinson coming together with one of the Oilers who is slow to get up. That's Pouliot. And he will get some attention on the Edmonton bench. Backhand pass here for Eberle. The red-hot Eberle moving in. Looks for open ice. And the shot stopped by McElhinney right there on the edge of the blue paint. And how about tonight's Toyota Keys, presented by your Central Ohio Toyota dealer?
Well, the Blue Jackets tonight have got to attack with speed. Edmonton likes to skate, but the Blue Jackets have got to get on their toes and attack. Get to the hard areas in front of the net, in the corners. Get there, get the pucks, and keep it tight. The Edmonton Oilers, Jeff, they like to have that run and gun style game. The Blue Jackets have got to keep it tight defensively and play their system.
Puck thrown into the slot, knocked away by Kevin Connaughton, who has many family and friends in attendance here. His first ever game at the National Hockey League level in his hometown here of Edmonton. That's got to be quite a thrill.
That's got to be exciting. I'm telling you what, this is a true hockey city. This is the big sport here. The Oilers, the dynasties, the Stanley Cup championships here in the 80s and 90s. I'll tell you what, it's exciting to play in this building, especially with friends and family around.
Now, Connaughton grew up an Oiler fan, he says, but no question where his allegiance is tonight. Cleared out of the zone by Artem Anisimov. Anisimov follows it up deep in the zone. There's Schultz. Justin Schultz deals to the far side. Just underway. Glad you've joined us here on Fox Sports Ohio as the Jackets begin this 3-game road trip, including back-to-back games after tonight. They'll wing their way further west of Vancouver, take on the Canucks, who were 4-1 winners over the Flyers last night on home ice at GM Place. Carried in here. Moving in, deflected, and bumping the goaltender there. McElhinney, but he's right back on his feet, none the worse for wear.
Well, what a play there by Anton Lander. Good patience. Looked like he was going to shoot the puck, but then decided to slide it across. Went under McElhinney in the corner.
Icing the call as Lander broke free. McElhinney was there and then fought off a bump.
That's one thing Edmonton has, is a quick transition. Here you see, looking to maybe shoot that puck. Lander, at the last second, puts a perfect pass. That was over to Andrew Miller, the recent call-up. First call-up to the National Hockey League. Miller almost had his first goal right there on his first shift.
Ryan Murray looking to shovel it out of the zone. Moved by Dano.
Chopped out. Ryan Craig given an opportunity to play. He's up here on emergency recall, and without Dubinsky. Why, Ryan Craig getting another opportunity to play for the hockey club. He is the captain at Springfield, a veteran of National Hockey League play, primarily with Tampa. The Jackets certainly rewarding him with an opportunity to play here again at the NHL level. Thrown back to the point. Quick shot. McElhinney got a piece of that one. Dano on the right wing with Wenberg. Cruising down the left side. There is Scotty Hartnell. He'll take the pass. Hartnell now. Injured Jacket. Marco Dano slow to get up. Dano doubled over.
He took a hit from Klinkhammer. Number 12 of the Edmonton Oilers took a run at him. Looked to be from behind. Dano went down awkwardly, and as you said, next to the bench, he made his way there quickly.
Right point, unable to keep it in there is Schultz. Justin Schultz looks to the left wing for Pouliot, who himself went off in some discomfort, but didn't miss his shift. He's got it in the high slot there. Pressuring is Reddy Bork. Up along the wing, Eberle. Eberle looking for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Eberle and Hopkins are red hot. And the Jackets certainly have to be aware when they're on the ice.
Yeah, they lead this team in points, goals, opportunities. Got to keep them off the power play. They're very dynamic and highly skilled players.
Which is one of the points made prior to tonight's game by Todd Richards. The Jackets got to be disciplined in this one. The Oilers' power play is red hot. 10 power play goals in the last 5 games. They scored 3 against the Jackets Friday night at Nationwide. Derek Roy, what a strong game and a gift for a goal. As the puck took a wicked bounce off Leon Boards in the high slot, redirected by Yakupov, and there was McElhinney, who was able to track it down, and the Jackets again send it down the ice, and a penalty upcoming.
They might both be going here. Kevin Connaughton was battling in front with Derek Roy. And right in front of the referee. It went on for quite a while.
Both
and at the,
boxes.
at the end of it, Derek Roy with the slash knocking the stick out of Connaughton's hand. But just before that, it was a hold. Let's take a look at the save here just before the penalty. Blue Jackets getting pressured, and the Edmonton Oilers are doing a good job of supporting each other with speed and finding the open man. There's a penalty. These guys are locked up here, right in the middle of your screen. That's 4 and 8. You can see that slash after the hold. So 4-on-4 hockey here, Jeff, for the next couple minutes.
From the drop. Along the wall, thrown back here to the point for Schultz. Eberle waits up high, sent towards the net. Jackets Tootin on the wing there for Foligno. Tootin now. Roy for slashing, holding the stick, the call against Connaughton. So 4-on-4 hockey, Oilers continue in Blue Jackets territory. Knockdown was Eberle. Far side Tootin. On for Murray. Foligno had it briefly. Oilers looked to send it ahead, but it was knocked down there by Anisimov. Both Anisimov and Foligno deep in the zone. Left wing pass, and it's Nugent-Hopkins to center. On for Klefbom. Looks to split the defense and walk in. Does it, a kick save. And that one a strong stop there by McElhinney again.
Yeah, good job there by McElhinney. Sorry, Jeff. He just kind of waited for that opportunity by Klefbom to evolve, and then was strong and looked very confident in that save.
The seas parted there, but the last line of defense, the goaltender McElhinney with that right pad save. Meantime, Wenberg into the offensive zone. Wenberg had 2 assists and the game-deciding goal in that shootout victory. Savard shoots and scores on the very first shot again. The Oilers victimized, and that has certainly been the Achilles heel. And David Savard has his 11th of the season, one off the franchise high for goals by a defenseman. It's 1-0 Columbus.
Well, there's a lot of ice out there with a 4-on-4 situation. What a play by Wenberg. Not just stopping up and waiting for support, but that backhand pass. And you talk about the first shot on net. What a shot by the right-handed shooting defenseman. David Savard puts that top shelf. And that got up in a hurry.
Ben Scrivens again allowing the first goal. And Friday night we were talking, they've allowed the first goal now in 10 of the last 13 games. and 7 of 8 at home. They scored 4 goals in the first 11 minutes of that game here against Toronto the other night and won it 4-1. Penalty upcoming here. But the Oilers have been victimized by those first shots, and again here tonight.
Yeah, first shot on net in Columbus went in on Scrivens, and here tonight, but what a shot. It looks like Atkinson's headed to the box here as he was back checking. Right there, he's just trying to fight for position as the captain, Andrew Ferris, battles for position. Atkinson got a stick in there and impeded him. Let's take a look at this hit on Dano we spoke of. Dano went to the box in a bit of a heap. On the right side of your screen right here, 56. You can see how his head went into the boards. Watch it here. This is a better... His head went off the glass there as he went down. We'll keep an eye on him. He still looks okay down there on the bench. Looks ready to jump over the boards.
Oilers on the power play. They scored 3 against the Jackets Friday night. There's a shot that is blocked, and that one hurt. Wenberg steps in front of it. In front there is Tootin. Sends it up, but not out. Unable to keep it in is Schultz. He'll have to retrieve it, neutral ice. Jackets get fresh penalty killers on. Right wing. Derek Roy. Behind the net. Backhanded up. Schultz this time, again, unable to keep it in. It's offside. The Jackets bench helping out the linesman there.
Yeah, were they ever. David Savard sitting right on the blue line. He made that call himself. Watch this block shot by Alexander Wenberg. Goes down in that onto the knee. Takes that puck off the back skate. He was in trouble there. He waited for the right opportunity to get off. He looks like he's okay as Mike Vogt, the trainer. We spoke a lot about Mike Vogt this year so far, Jeff. He's been a busy, busy man for the Columbus Blue Jackets, attending to those players with all those injuries. There's another one, making sure that Wenberg's okay.
Thrown to the left wing boards. Jackets able to clear. The Chester gets a stick on it, and Schultz looks to the right wing boards for Eberle. Eberle, Nugent Hopkins. Lander, Nugent Hopkins. Up high, Schultz. Eberle. Nugent Hopkins, Purcell. Cruising in the slot. Oh, that one was redirected. The shot by Eberle, but just sailed wide of the open corner. Wenberg will now lift it up and out. Unable to keep it in his Schultz. He's had a hard time at that point. First on the left side, there on the right. Unable to keep it in. Oilers move out of the zone. Right side, Derek Roy. Rimmed around the wall. Ryan Murray there defending. Puck comes up high. Knocked down. Nikitin, jersey number 86, coming off IR to play in this one against his former teammates. And there's McElhaney again. And speaking of coming off the IR, let's check out our Elk and Elk injury report. And as we mentioned, Brandon Dubinsky, a late scratch, took part this morning in the pregame skate, including the line rushes, but a late scratch here tonight with an upper body injury, and those man games continue to climb.
Unbelievable, the man games there. Dubinsky, hopefully he's okay.
Shot from the point, knocked down. Final seconds in the penalty to Atkinson as Leicester cruises through the neutral zone. Poke check there, down to 2-1. Out steps Atkinson and back at full strength as Yakupov sends one in. Yakupov riding a 4-game point-scoring streak. One shot for the Oilers on that power play. Ryan Murray unable to clear. That's Pouliot. A shot off the pad. Big rebound there. Another attempt from the point, sails wide. Ranchin unable to hit the net, and the Jackets Letestu swings it up the far wall and into Oiler territory. No icing here. Jackets have got fresh legs on. 11 minutes, 25 seconds remain. If you just joined us, David Savard on the first shot for the Jackets after 5 consecutive shots by the Oilers. His 11th goal of the season, one off the franchise record of 12. And thrown behind the net. Reaching for their Klefbom, tosses to the far side. Jackets on the turnover. Moved by Edmonton, up the left wing wall. This is Hamilton. He did not play in Columbus. Drop pass there for Miller. Called up just prior to tonight's game. from Oklahoma City, making his NHL debut. McElhinney, the glove stop, and he will hold on. 10:51 left. Opening period from Rexall Place. Jackets with the lead.
In the city of champions, Edmonton, Alberta. 8 shots for the Oilers, 1 for the Blue Jackets, and they got 1 goal. And how about Curtis McElhinney so far in this game? Bob is on the bench, but I'm telling you, the way Curtis looks in that net, the way he's at the top of his crease, very efficient in his movements. He's had to make some big saves already. There's a couple opportunities on the power play. 1 for sure by the Oilers. But look at the way he's moving. That's a great shot. The puck is being moved around. It's 1 push, set, and there for the save.
Sergei Bobrovsky likely to start the final 2 games on this Western Canadian swing. And McElhinney's performance simply spectacular here in the early minutes. The Jackets weather the storm, knowing full well the Oilers would come out here as they normally do early in the hockey game. But they have been victimized time and time again by the first goal and first shot. Approaching the midway point. Good hit along the wall there. Savard all over Hendricks. Far side of the ice. Jack Johnson on here for Dano. None the worse for wear after he took that hard hit. Scrivens able to trap it behind the net. Rimmed around the boards. Picked up by Pouliot. Pouliot under control. Dishes it back to the point. Right wing feed. Carried in by Eberle. With Nugent Hopkins and Pouliot. Top line for the Oilers. Ryan Murray, a clearing pass, and it's Atkinson. Down the left wing. Looks to the right side. Coming with speed. Here is Bourque. Drops a pass for Johansson. Johansson a quick shot. And the stop by Scrivens. He will hold on. 9:43 left. 8 of the 9 shots have gone. And now the Jackets finally get a second shot on the board. There's interim head coach Todd Nelson. Played in the National Hockey League, most notably with the Washington Capitals. He has been assured that he will coach the team for the balance of the year. Become a fan favorite here in a hurry, Jody. Had a couple of season ticket holder events, and the fans were quite warm to Todd, but he will coach the team for the balance of the year, and then decision will be made about his future. And if, in fact, the Oilers will go for yet another coach. They've had 6 coaches here in the last little while, including 3 this season. Craig McTavish took over on an interim basis, the general manager. Stepped aside and allowed Nelson to run the team for the balance of the year.
Todd Nelson stepped in December 15th. Pretty much halfway through the year.
Puck picked up along the wall there by Miller. Miller, quick shot, bad save, steered off to the corner, alertly so. Miller trying to pick it back up along the near boards, but played by Jared Bull. Bull looks cross ice. Connaughton will step up. Kevin Connaughton from center. Puts the brakes on and then rifles one in. Gets away from Scrivens. Less than 9 minutes left. Battle ensues below that goal line, and there, Derek Roy to the right wing. Ahead and across the line. Oilers look to establish something in the offensive zone. Purcell picked up along the wall there. Yakupov had it briefly. Jackets able to knock it away. Corey Trott moving up for the Anisimov and Foligno in the absence of Dubinsky. Like all the lines pretty well switched up, save for the Wenberg-Dano-Hartnell combination. And why would you break that up? Oh, quick shot there off the pad of Scrivens. Jack Johnson takes a hit. Foligno in the corner. Nick Foligno tosses it behind the net. Anisimov in pursuit. Atkinson comes flying off the bench. Right after Purcell. Oilers, Derek Roy. From center, Weeds tosses it deep into the zone. Klinkhammer hustling. McElhinney will steer to the corner. Jack Johnson pressured by both Hendricks and Klinkhammer. Bourque able to send it to Sutter. Edmonton pick it up off the wall. Moved by Hendricks. Lloyd Gordon takes it behind the net. Ryan Johansson drops him, and he'll take a penalty here with Gordon's back to the play. Johansson will give Edmonton their second power play as he heads off for cross-checking likely.
Well, it's almost like a forearm shiver there. Oh, there it is right there. You're right. Cross-check. Then he put the hand on him. I think Ryan Johansson just extended his arms there. And Lloyd Gordon, that's the player that got the brunt of that hit. So the Blue Jackets on the penalty kill here.
Second power play for the Oilers. They had 1 shot the previous attempt. Here's Eberle moving in. Shot, rebound, sent wide. Lander tried to send home that Eberle rebound. McElhaney stood his ground. Eberle cruising in that blue paint, now retreats. Long shot, saved McElhaney. Tootin deals to the corner. Eberle's on it. Jordan Eberle, red hot, coming into the game here tonight, riding a 3-game goal-scoring streak. He has 4 in the last 5, and a 5-game point streak, 11 points in the last 5 games. In fact, he and Nugent Hopkins each with 11 points in the month of March. That's second best in all the NHL.
Dangerous players with the puck, especially on the power play.
Lander sends it off the boards. Nugent Hopkins picks it up high. This is Eberle taking it from Justin Schultz, moving in. Purcell off the skate of Jack Johnson. Eberle, one-timer there, and another stop by McElhaney. You got to feel he's in a shooting gallery here right now, but he has stood tall. Now Eberle again, moving in. Eberle drops the pass for Purcell. Looks in front, Eberle. Power play, less than a minute remaining. Eberle, Nugent Hopkins. Nugent Hopkins off the wall. Eberle shoots. Jack Johnson stepped in front of that one. Nugent Hopkins right back on it. Atkinson with the steal. Good work there by Atkinson, and he'll steer it deep into Edmonton territory.
Nice job by the Blue Jackets defenseman. Better Tootin on his shift. Great job in front of McElhaney, tidying it up. And right there, you mentioned Jack Johnson on that Eberle shot. Got his stick on it, cleared the play to the corner.
12-3 are the shots on goal favoring Edmonton. McElhaney, again, outstanding. Nikitin, Derek Roy. Nikitin wants it up high. He can fire, as Blue Jacket fans certainly aware, and he lets one go. Big rebound off the goal post and crossbar. McElhaney made the initial stop. It went off the goal post and the crossbar, and this one remains a 1-0 hockey game. Jackets back at full strength. Offside is the call.
Back to Rexall Place in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where the Jackets have a 1-0 lead on the homestanding Oilers. I'm with the older brother of Kevin Connauton, Sean Connauton, playing his first NHL game here on this ice, where you guys watched a lot of hockey. How exciting is this for you, Sean?
It's pretty unbelievable. We grew up cheering for the Oilers. We came to countless games. We came to every game except for one during their 06 playoff run. Sat in these seats right here, and to see Kevin out on this ice that we, in a rink that we spent so much time in growing up, it's unbelievable. There's a lot of excitement with myself, the family, and a lot of friends that are here tonight. So.
Sean, I know you're proud of your brother, and you're sitting next to a guy with a Buckeye leather jacket on, too. That's pretty cool, too. Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Play underway, and it really is great. Kevin Connauton, a young player that the organization feels will grow. And, boy, just seeing the smile on his face yesterday, I said, hey, you're going home. He said, yeah, and I'm really excited.
Well, just think, not many kids get to see an NHL game or be in an NHL city. Edmonton is an NHL city, so as a young kid, he got to come here and watch the others play. Think about the kids in Columbus who get to watch the Blue Jackets play at home, and then getting the opportunity to play on that ice in front of your parents and family. Pretty awesome stuff.
And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's contest. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. Face-off will come in Edmonton territory. Jack Johnson is hit, but not before he's able to keep it in at that left point. Oilers able to clear nonetheless. This is Hendricks. He takes a hit, and double team there was Dano. Back on his feet. No penalty call. He got his face washed there in addition to getting hit.
Yeah, he did. Gordon came over after, and he saw the action by the bench where Dano finished his check. Actually rode the player out. Watch this. Dano can't believe there's no penalty. Here it is. There's the hit initially. Watch the next guy that comes in. Just missed it, but it's a face wash. Right to the chops of young Dano.
Dano will send it off the wall. Hartnell in pursuit. Scotty Hartnell, incidentally, with the assist on the Savard goal. Second assist. Primary assist went to Wenberg. He extends a point-scoring streak. That is now at 5 games. This is the second longest goal-scoring streak for Hartnell in his career. Long shot. Scrivens able to turn that one aside. Eberle dancing down the right wing to center. Across the line, Pouliot heads to the net. And now retreats off into the corner and hands it to Eberle. Nugent Hopkins battles for position in front. Eberle, Pouliot. On for Nugent Hopkins. Cycling out of the corner, here's Pouliot. Up high. Ference, one-timer there, breaking his stick. Was Nikita Nikitin. Yeah, he's got to head off. Remains in the defensive zone as the Jackets march out. Right side for Corey Troppin. He's drilled. Ference with a hit.
Yeah, good play by Corey Troppin. Knew he had to make the play, so he received the puck, got his head up, knew he was going to get hit, took it, and got the puck deep.
Less than 4 minutes left. Scrivens trapped it. Albeit the Jackets able to recover nonetheless. The Oilers got a little wire cross there. Now Foligno working behind the net. Puck sent up high. Murray keeping it away from Purcell. Moved by Anisimov. Derek Royer's right there. Jackets able to edge it into the corner. Jared Bull hit from behind. Along the wall, Purcell tosses it back for Ference. Right wing. Yakupov coming with speed. He's riding a 4-game point streak. Jackets break it up, and it's Tootin who sends it back. And Fane will play for Edmonton deep in Oiler territory. Both teams with wholesale changes as the Oilers march through the neutral zone and across the line. Fane with a backhand pass. Oilers dump it behind the net. Jackets come up with it. Good work by Konotlu in that board battle. Out of the zone for Corey Tropp. At the line. Here's Dalton Prout. Waits as the Jackets clear the zone. Prout dumps it in deep. Jackets will clear to avoid the offside.
Corey Tropp's he's getting double shifted here. He's moving on a few different lines.
Stick save. McElhinney. Leicester. With Ryan Craig and Atkinson. Jackets change up as play continues. Atkinson in pursuit. He's got the skating legs going. This is his kind of game. And he tells me this morning, loves playing here in Edmonton.
Yeah, because all those fast guys love it. Even us slow guys used to love playing here because you feel fast, but that just means everyone else is that much faster. The ice here is the best in the league. It's fun to skate on. I don't know what it is, but it's...
Klinkhammer, his shot deflected high. Even us slow guys feel like we're fast.
It's true.
I love it. Boyd Gordon from a sharp angle off a leg. Shot from the point there by Klefbom. And it's high over top of the net. Hendricks attempts to play it. Klinkhammer finishing a check. Klefbom turning away from traffic. Oilers control. Deep in the zone, deflected wide with a little more than a minute remaining. Shots are 14-4 favoring Edmonton. And they can thank Curtis McElhinney for an outstanding first period here, and now less than a minute to go. Bourque along the left wing, can't clear. Pouliot. Schultz moving in, fights off the check. Jackets Atkinson is there to flip a backhand deep into Edmonton territory. Nugent Hopkins will make the play and walks out. Right side Eberle coming with speed. Eberle on to Pouliot. Right back to Eberle. A fast-moving opening period drilled wide by Pouliot. Nikitin dumps it behind the net. Nugent Hopkins dishing to Eberle on a backhand. Ference. Nugent Hopkins. Final seconds tick off in this opening period. Scotty Hartnell at center. Hartnell now looks for the trailer. Dano hops over his stick. And play is called with 6.2 seconds remaining.
There's going to be a penalty here. Columbus was on the offense with the puck. And Pouliot is going to sit for 2 minutes for hooking late in this period. It's going to set up nice to start the second period with fresh ice for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Unless they score in the next 6.2, of course. See Todd is directing the guys on the face-off. Hey, here it is right here. Puck battle. Ties up Wenberg, who's on the puck. Hooked him. Wenberg went with his skate, still made the play.
Draw, won by Johansson, who tried to steer it towards the net. Oilers clear. And there it is, the horn to end the opening period of play. The only goal on the first shot
for the Blue Jackets. David Savard with his 11th, one off the franchise record currently held by Brian Berard. Savard from Wenberg and Hartnell at 5:35. Jackets lead 1-0. They've been outshot 14-4. Dave Metzel on the other side. All but set for second period play. Jackets will begin on the power play. They lead 1-0 on David Savard, 11th of the year. Our IGS Energy performers, no question about this. Savard, of course, the goal. But Curtis McElhaney, Jody, was simply sensational.
Yeah, he definitely was. Stingy and confident. I mean, he was at the top of his crease. Very, very strong movements. And I'll tell you what, he just looks like he just gets more confident every time he's in there. Great first period.
A look at the penalty box, and the penalized player is Pouliot. Jackets are on the power play, and the second period is underway. Blue Jackets 1 for 4 Friday versus Edmonton. But they have been efficient. Of late, they are 6 for the last 16. Carried in by Foligno. Nick Foligno, who broke a power play drought with his first in 33 games the other night.
That had to feel good for him.
I would think so. They've certainly been paying a lot more attention to him, particularly with the manpower advantage. Hartnell drops it back for the aforementioned Foligno, who crosses the line. Rink wide. Wenberg had it knocked off his stick. Oilers dump to the near corner. Off the point is Kevin Connauton. Ryan Johansson backs him up. Right back to Connauton. Connauton from a sharp angle ricochets off the leg there of Foligno. Up high Johansson. On for Wenberg. Hartnell waits in the slot. Off a skate. Foligno gets it right back. Foligno looks for Johansson. Knocked down there by the Oilers. Battle ensues at the side of the net. And it's Connauton up high. Able to keep it in. Connauton. Johansson lets one fly, and it goes off the leg of Foligno. Camped in front. Scrivens not happy about the screen being set by Foligno. Connauton in deep. On to Foligno. Right back to Connauton. Johansson way up high. Foligno. Wenberg. Johansson. Right back to Wenberg. Wenberg. Rink wide. Connauton. Cross ice. Hartnell. He was looking top shelf. Can't believe with Scrivens down and without a goal stick that he could not find the back of the net. He was looking top shelf. Connauton denied.
Whoa. Wow, Kevin Connauton, what an opportunity for him on the backside. You said Dave Metzel just interviewed his dad, it was his brother. His family's in the house here. What an opportunity for him. And how about Scott Hartnell, too? Back-to-back opportunities. This is Connauton over to Hartnell. Hartnell looks to the heavens there.
Can't believe he missed the gaping wide open net.
And you mentioned that Foligno wasn't happy with Scrivens. Well, Scrivens got his stick knocked out of his hand by Foligno early in that offensive zone setup. And he was not happy by that bump. And then Foligno just hung around there. Scrivens lost his stick there 3 times in that sequence.
Bourque tosses it behind the net. Jackets in pursuit of the puck. Pouliot steps out. Edmonton back at full strength, and Pouliot shovels a pass ahead here for Gordon. Right side goes to defenseman Schultz. Looks cross ice and just off the stick of Pouliot. Good play there. And Bourque trying to send an Isimov free. Bourque coming together there with Eberle. Along the wall, Bourque. There's an Isimov reaching for it. Scrivens will leave it along the boards, and Eberle will play. Outlet pass. 2 shots, incidentally, for the Jackets on that power play. They're up to 6 for the night. Oilers, as we approach the 2.5-minute mark of the second period, yet to register a shot here in period 2. Nugent Hopkins can't get a stick on it. Puck sails deep into Edmonton or into Jackets territory. My apologies. Left wing feed off the skate of Deno, and the Jackets will be called for icing.
Take a look at Jack Johnson. Sorry, Jeff, from the first period here. You mentioned a couple times him in front of the net. He's done a nice job. He's had a strong season, I'm telling you. He plays the most minutes. He's got 3 block shots already in this game. But see him in front of the net, positionally, always in that right spot. Very smart. Knows he wants to keep the players to the outside, but then always fills back to the middle.
Oilers deal it on the right wing. March out of the zone. Here is Derek Roy. Roy slides it by Tootin. The two go to the wall. Better Tootin. Off the stick. Derek Roy and Tootin get tied up again at the point. Unable to keep it in there was Nikitin. Now a race for the puck. A former Blue Jacket.
Before the Jackets hit the ice, get ready to join the battle on Blue Jackets Live right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Blue Jackets Live brought to you as always by your Central Ohio Toyota dealer.
You mentioned Nikitin, yeah, former Blue Jacket. He's missed 20 games with a shoulder injury. He comes back tonight. We saw his big booming shot created a nice opportunity off of McElhinney. Went over to Yakupov, who couldn't cash in.
Shot there from the left circle. Ricochets all the way back into Edmonton territory. Cliffbaum back to make the play. I talked to Nikitin briefly this morning. Had a big smile, Jody, on his face as he left the ice. And said, I'm back tonight. And was looking forward to face his old mates. And, of course, in particular, the likes of Tootin, Bobrovsky, and Anisimov. Those four were inseparable. Well, all members of the Blue Jackets last year. Quite amusing to see them together.
And there's some stories written here in Edmonton about Nikitin's conditioning coming into camp, and maybe that set him back a little bit. Then he caught the injury. But they're saying now that he's back, he's worked hard, and his conditioning is no problem.
Well, Craig McTavish, quite outspoken, said after that 2-year contract, he expected him to come to camp in great shape. Nikitin disagreed, said he thought he was in pretty good shape. Johansson scores. What a shot. Scrivens just watched as Johansson pulls the trigger, and it's 2-0 Blue Jackets.
All in one motion, Ryan Johansson. Watch this pass. Johansson's going to end up. Here he starts moving in the middle of the screen. He'll find the ice on the left side here. And as he gets it, he kind of curls and drags, and in one motion, well, we've seen it so many times out front of his body. He puts it upstairs. Great job by Rene Bourque, right in front of Scrivens. He didn't see that until it whistled by his ear.
23rd of the year for Ryan Johansson. And the Jackets lead 2-0. 2 goals on 7 shots.
The Columbus goal scored by number 19.
Ryan Johansson with his 23rd.
The assist, number 27, Ryan Murray.
Murray picks up the primary assist.
Cam Atkinson.
And Cam Atkinson the second assist.
I like the way Ryan Johansson in that sequence worked to get open, worked to get in that spot on the far side of the ice. He saw him jump to the middle and then didn't like it, then jumped to that far side. Good support, found the puck and did the rest himself.
Eberle, Nugent Hopkins. Eberle knocked down by Nugent Hopkins. Gets back up. Schultz able to save it at the line. Gets it ahead. Nugent Hopkins with Connaughton draped all over. Delayed penalty upcoming. It will be to the Blue Jackets and likely Connaughton for hooking. So the Oilers will get their third power play. Connaughton going to the box.
Blue Jackets in their own end get caught flat-footed.
11th penalty, number 4, hooking.
Ending that whole sequence, Dano's just laid out Pouliot. He's getting more and more comfortable throwing his weight around. There's the stick. You can see it there. Nugent Hopkins might have helped out in that. He kind of closes his arm on the stick. Nothing really Connaughton could do at that point. Just try to push him off his stick. Nonetheless, Oilers power play here.
They're 0 for 2 with 4 shots. They had 1 the first attempt, 3 on the second. And again, McElhinney outstanding, particularly on the kill. Knockdown was Foligno, gets back up. Jack Johnson moving in, and Scrivens forced to make a stop there.
How about Nick Foligno knocked down? Thought he was going to go in on a breakaway, but he couldn't stay on his feet, so he stayed with it. On his knees, made the play to Jack Johnson.
Foligno finishing a check there on Hendricks. Oilers gain the zone. That's Yakupov. Yakupov, one of the 3 power play goals in Columbus. Shot from the wing. Oh, what an outstanding glove stop there. Oilers can't believe it. Shaking their heads as through the traffic and all, McElhinney gets a glove on it off the stick of Pouliot.
What a play. And this puck isn't like it's coming from one position. Curtis has to work to follow it behind the net. There's a blind spot there. And there you go. He watches it behind the net, come out front, and then tracks it. Nice catch.
Nick Schultz. A hit here for Nugent Hopkins. Nugent Hopkins back for Schultz. Schultz fires one through. It was deflected by Lander, but off the mark. Lander now up high. Schultz takes it back from Nugent Hopkins. Moving in, fires a shot. That's deflected wide. Ricochets off the backboard all the way back into Edmonton territory. Less than a minute left in the Connaughton penalty for hooking. Jackets will wing their way further west after this one and take on the Vancouver Canucks, who won a big game on home ice last night. Final seeding here in the Western Conference very much up for grabs. And the Jackets' next two opponents tomorrow night, Vancouver, and of course Saturday afternoon in Calgary. The Flames and the Canucks very much in the hunt for the postseason. David Savard onto Anisimov, shorthanded, walks in and sends one off the goalpost.
Wow, great play by Anisimov. Nice pass there from Savard. Put it right on his tape with speed.
The other way. Oilers unable to get a shot. Connaughton steps out. Jackets almost with their fifth shorthanded goal of the season. There was a little church music off that net here to the left of us and you folks at home watching on television. Oilers sent one off the crossbar in the first. In front there. The cross, blue paint attempt denied. Wenberg. Across the line, in front there for Hartnell. Hartnell spins and turns. Hartnell now deals it back for Savard, and it got away from him, and it's all the way back into Jackets territory as we approach the 8-minute mark. Hartnell now dancing away from Gordon across the line. Hartnell drops a pass for Dano. Picked off by the Oilers, sent back to center. Stepping up here is Dalton Prout. Prout on the right wing. Dano darts to the net. Scribbins got the blocker on it. Now a stick save. Far side of the ice. That's Ferentz. Ferentz out of the zone. Letestu knocking down that attempted pass. Ferentz will try again from center. At the blue line, the Jackets recovered. And it's Connaughton taking the feed there from Dalton Prout. Away from Klinkhammer. Right wing feed. Jared Bull on that right wing. Puck sails into the zone. Dalton Prout away from Klinkhammer. Connaughton's got it. He walks away from difficulty as we approach the 9-minute mark. Period number 2. Goal in the first by the Jackets, David Savard. Johansson is followed up here in the second. 2-0 into the slot. And that one sent high.
That was Ryan Craig. He had a good start to his shift. Nice opportunity on net. And there to end the shift, puts one just over the pipe.
11 and a half minutes left. Second period. Jackets lead 2-0. Johansson goal number 23.
Back in Edmonton, Alberta. Jackets have a 2-0 lead. And that man right there, Artem Anisimov, has had a nice little period or start of this game. We're almost at the halfway point. On the puck. He's a big guy that moves well. He's smart. He's got a good stick. And when he's in the offensive zone taking away pucks, he's very effective. But how about defensively? Here he is in a support position. Stays under the puck here. And that's just a big play in the defensive zone to be underneath there. And here's that big play. Shorthanded. You heard it right there, Jeff. You said church music.
Offside.
Solid player, and I'm telling you, like he gets around very well for a big guy. And I think that surprises people. They see him out there and don't think that he can close that time and space as quick as he does. And that's why he causes a lot of turnovers and just really smart in the defensive zone. Looks up to Pavel Datsyuk, one of the best, if not the best, defensive forward in the league. Watches his tape and studies his tendencies.
How about the giveaways in this one? The Oilers have committed 11. The Blue Jackets 4.
Wow, that is a big number, 11.
Isn't it?
Even 4 is a lot for half a game by the Blue Jackets.
Exactly. Bourque stepping into the Oiler defender, Ferentz. Behind the net. Atkinson tried to get a stick on it, and Bourque came in and just hammered the Oiler player who is down. A penalty upcoming here. And both Bourque and the Oiler remain down. Bourque just getting up.
That's Boyd Gordon down there. He took the hit from behind as Bourque.
Unintentional.
It was a quick play.
Bourque wanted to make sure that Gordon was okay. He keeps looking back at him.
Tough guy there, Boyd Gordon. There he is trying to protect the puck. Not really from behind. He's in a vulnerable position here, Jeff.
Yeah, he was going down.
Rene Bourque, when he hits, so we said this earlier, he goes all the way through the hit.
Just to show what a class young man Bourque is, he was concerned he wouldn't get up until he knew that Gordon was okay. A nice chat with Bourque this morning in the hotel lobby. Wife, 8 months pregnant, expecting the due date just at the conclusion of the season, and Bourque hoping that she can hold on and be the birth of their first child, but really happy with the opportunity he's getting here in Columbus.
Well, yeah, you can see. I mean, it's one thing to get picked up or traded somewhere, but to play with the likes of Ryan Johansson and Cam Atkinson, that's an opportunity that players, some may never get. Some may never think about getting that opportunity, but he's made the best of it here. With he goes to the front of the net, he finishes his checks, he's got good speed down the wing.
Funny you say that. I'm talking to him this morning. He said, boy, he got traded from Montreal earlier on this season to Anaheim. But he said first game, got to play with Getzlaf and Corey Perry.
Oh, wow.
One game. Next game, he was a healthy scratch. Everly moving it off the wing. Drops it back here for Nugent Hopkins. Nugent Hopkins with a shot looking far corner. It sails wide and ricochets all the way back into Edmonton territory. Really likes the guy. Says it's a great room in Columbus here with the Blue Jackets.
We heard that from a lot of guys that are in the room, guys that have left the room, and the new acquisitions.
Schultz, far side of the ice. Everly to the point. Nugent Hopkins drilled off the stick there of McElhinney. Purcell attempting to play the puck, but it's Letestu who muscles it to center. Nugent Hopkins, far side. Nugent Hopkins, Letestu defending, and dumped in. It'll be played here by Scrivens and left for Schultz. Less than 40 seconds left in the penalty to Bourque. Turned over, short-handed Johansson, who leads the Jackets with a pair of short-handed goals. His goal here tonight has opened up the 2-0 lead for the Jackets.
Well, Johansson saw Pouliot whiff on the pass. It was slow moving through the neutral zone, and he jumped.
Oh, walking ahead there was Yakupov. Puck got away from him, but the net was gaping wide open. And the Oilers get a power play goal again. And they have cut the deficit to 1. Derek Roy.
That's Derek Roy, you're right. Open net. And it looked like Pouliot with amazing little pass here right through the traffic. There's Yakupov's effort. Watch this. Good pass over to Roy. Through the players. And he found Roy on the backside. And Roy made no mistake. Well, you get the puck in that area. When the goalie's got to commit to the puck on the far side, through traffic, in traffic, Roy finds that puck and puts it in the net.
What's this about Roy and these empty nets? He did the same thing in Columbus. As you recall, the puck ricocheted awkwardly as Bobrovsky came out to play it.
That's right.
I guess to get those opportunities, you want to bury it. 2-1 the score. Pouliot, the first assist, and Hendricks the second. Far side. Oilers play it up high. Clefbaum drops it behind the net. Lander ridden off there by Dalton Prout. Hamilton is there along the wall. Klinkhammer drops it back. Hold that goal line. Oilers unable to cradle the puck. Battle ensues along the near wall, and that's Connaughton, who will wisely backhand it for Dalton Prout. Pressure coming from Klinkhammer. Throws the hip on Prout, who fights it off.
Nice poise there by Dalton Prout. Knew the hit was coming. Saw he had a little bit of time and space. Just made a nice subtle little move. Got out of there. Found some extra space and time. Made a nice outlet pass.
Better Tilton turning the wrong way, but still able to make the play. Kept in up high there by Boyd Gordon, showing no ill effects of that hit. Ryan Murray head-ups to the line. Right wing feed. Nick Foligno looking for open ice. Drops it back for Murray. On to Tilton. Through a crowd. Scrivens down, tracked it down. Foligno's lost his glove and his stick. Play is called. There'll be a penalty here. Tripping is the call. 7:15 left. Second period. A one-goal game. Back after this.
Edmonton with the Jackets leading 2-1. You know, Mark Letestu is the only NHL player from Elk Point, Alberta. These kids play for the same youth hockey team that Mark played for as a youngster. James Knapczak coaches youth hockey. What does it mean to your town to have Mark Letestu playing in the NHL?
Well, it's great to have someone like Mark representing our town, especially a small town in northeastern Alberta, 1,200 people, and be able to come here and watch him play. It's great for the kids to come and support him. Like I said, he's a great player for representing Elk Point.
And he gives young ladies and young men the dream of saying, someday I could do what Mark Letestu did, right?
That's right. You know what? I got to give it to Mark. He's giving his hardest out there tonight. I know a year or so he came to Elk Point, signed a couple sticks for the kids. Kids just loved it. So he really supports the town, and the kids just love that kind of stuff. So.
How about that, guys? An NHL dream come true.
A quick shot there sails wide of the net. Jody talked earlier about Kevin Connaughton. Speaking of dreams coming true, Edmonton native coming back for the first time as an NHL player and playing in the building that he and his brother, Dave talked earlier to his brother, sat in similar seats in the same area where the family's sitting tonight, watching the Oilers time and time again.
Well, great story on Mark Letestu. Just such a good pro. And you can see the coach there saying how proud he was to have a guy like Mark Letestu to represent that town. Elk Point, 18 miles from where we're at right here at the Rexall Center in Edmonton.
Puck up high for Schultz. Oilers on their 5th power play. In front, McElhinney out of the net. Poke check there. The net is empty, but Savard, little house cleaning behind his netminder. Oilers able to keep it in. Less than a minute left on the power play. Purcell. Sent in front. Quick shot. Moving laterally and stopping Nugent Hopkins. There was McElhinney.
Everly just finds a way to find Nugent Hopkins. That's a cross-crease pass. Look at this earlier save by McElhinney. Good patience there by the Oilers. Everly, but good job by Savard and McElhinney. McElhinney there, that was a big save. Look at Savard in the net, playing goaltender. Second line of defense behind Mac.
Oilers have had their way on the power play against the Jackets. They have 8 power play goals in 20 opportunities coming into this one here, which represents their 5th manpower advantage of the night. 1 for the previous 4. Jackets, conversely, have really struggled. They've now allowed 9 goals here in recent play. Oilers scored 3 of them back on Friday night, allowing this Edmonton Hockey Club back into the game before getting the goal from Hartnell late in the 3rd to force overtime in the eventual shootout. Here's Nikitin, looks in front, redirected. Defending there was the aforementioned Letestu, and the Jackets have dumped it down. The penalty over. Foligno steps up.
Yeah, Nikitin didn't use that big shot there. Maybe he should have tried to connect with Pouliot.
Connaughton on to Hartnell. Picked up here. Klinkhammer attempting to keep it in. Does just that. Fane avoids a hit there from Dano. Chop behind the net. Klinkhammer's on it. A 2-1 hockey game. Less than 5 minutes left in the second. Marincin. His shot is blocked. Picked up. Quick shot. Sails wide. Jackets defend. In front of McElhinney. Long shot there. Oilers all over the Jackets here right now.
Yeah, the Blue Jackets are definitely on their heels. A lot of time defending. Coming off of that penalty kill, they just can't seem to get it out. The Oilers doing a good job of hemming them in, and great job moving the puck.
Jackets have got to stay out of the penalty box.
Oh, there's no question.
Of course, that was said prior to the game by Coach Todd Richards.
It's said to the prior to every game.
Isn't that the truth? For some reason, it doesn't seem to be sinking in. The Jackets, in the last 9 games, including tonight, have now allowed 15 power play goals. In 2006, these Oilers were the runners-up in the Stanley Cup final. But listen to this, Jody. Since then, they've had 6 coaches, 81 forwards, 53 defensemen, 13 goaltenders, 7 top 10 picks in the last 8 drafts, including 3 first overalls, and yet the results are the same. They are in line for Connor McDavid, arguably the #1 overall pick again this year. Those numbers are quite something.
They're looking for something.
Yeah. Looking to win.
3 #1 overall picks in a row. 2 are playing tonight. 1 is injured, Taylor Hall. But Yakupov and Nugent Hopkins, #1 pick in their respective drafts. You said it, Jeff. There's been a lot of change, a lot of searching. Some people, well, the fans are wondering what they're doing sometimes, but
the more things change, the more they stay the same. That's certainly been the case here in Edmonton.
They've got a lot of skill. You see it on their power play, but it feels like they got a long way to go still, doesn't it?
Sure does. Everly, Hopkins right there. Jackets pick it off. Jack Johnson now. A little more than 3 minutes remaining here in period number 2. Race for the puck. Below that goal line. Battle ensues. Reaching for it there is Yakupov. Was one of those 3 first overall picks. And picked just ahead a young man by the name of Ryan Murray.
That's right. Best defenseman available, but they went with the Russian goal scorer. Dynamic player, really.
And really playing well under Todd Nelson.
Congratulations to season ticket holder Ron Myers, who won lunch with the CBJ broadcast team through the early renewal sweepstakes. Today's prize is a Pittsburgh road trip. Renew your season tickets now at BlueJackets.com or by texting RENEW to 37664 to be entered to win. Broadcast team, am I included on that?
Of course you are, Dave. You're buying. Rims is buying.
Lost less than 2.5 left. Up high, there's a shot. Ricochets just wide of the net. Drop finishes a check. This is Fane. He tried to send it ahead. Polito pitching along the wall. Now battles. Purcell shovels it wide of the net. Little more than 2 minutes remain. Kevin Connauton. Marincin takes that pass. Rolls off his stick. Drop. Hit there by Fane. He'll head to the bench. Eric Roy, goal scorer for Edmonton here in the second after the Johansson goal gave the Jackets a 2-0 lead. 14 giveaways now by the Oilers. Quick shot there. Fought off. Ryan Craig gets back on his feet wearing jersey number 12. Playing here tonight. After a lengthy post-pregame skate, but unable to play is Dubinsky with an upper body injury. And Craig gets an opportunity to play for the Jackets here tonight.
You mentioned captain of the minor league Springfield team.
Great captain.
Great guy. Just a pro.
Fought off there by McElhaney well into the final minute. 24-11 are the shots. Again, Curtis McElhaney has been strong, particularly the first period. Oof, a crunching hit there by Marco Dano. The Oilers go after Dano. Hartnell will step in for his teammate. And the Oilers slow to get over the bench after a hard hit by Marco Dano. That was Lander. Savard. Nice move. Dishes for Wenberg.
Dano's getting worked over in front of the net by Schultz. Here he is with the puck. Big hitter. Strong on his skates. Makes an impact out there almost every single shift.
He's been kind of a target all night long.
Oh, yeah. He's under the skin of these Oilers. And exclamation point with that last hit he laid on Lander.
In front, off the goalpost. Oilers thought they had it. So did the crowd here. And there's the horn to end the period. And this one remains a 2-1 hockey game. Teams trade goals in the second. But after 40 minutes of play, it's the Blue Jackets 2, the Oilers 1. Shots 27-2 for Edmonton, 11 for the Blue Jackets. Jackets file out for third period play. And before the drop of the puck, Jody, how about the AEP power play summary?
Way too many man advantages going the way of the Edmonton Oilers, Jeff. You knew they were going to cash in on one. They've had a potent power play lately. You give them 5 opportunities in 2 periods. Can't be doing that. Have got to stop that.
Curtis McElhinney has turned aside 25 of 26 shots. He is the subject of tonight's Ohio Health Great Save.
And he's been strong. He's been confident. But this one in particular, he's got to follow that puck behind the net. It comes out quickly, and he's there. He's deep in his net. He's got to react, and he does perfectly, snatching up that puck.
So, we are set for the third period. Jackets, incidentally, leading in the face-off department, winning 58% of the draws, leading the way. Nick Foligno winning 5 of 6 for 83%, and 8 of 11 for Ryan Johansson at 73%. Teams at full strength. Oilers have outshot the Jackets 26-11, but they trail 2-1. Klinkhammer, right wing. Marco Dano able to backhand it ahead, but the Oilers are quick to clear. Ferrin sends it ahead, right in on McElhinney. He will cover up in the blue paint and hang on.
Columbus Blue Jackets hockey is brought to you by Nationwide, the official sponsor of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Ryan Johansson with that last goal for the Blue Jackets. And I tell you what, he's had a strong game here tonight. Hard strides all over the ice. Engaged in all the battles. Here he is getting ready for another face-off. I like his game, and I love that shot of his when he can get it away that quick on that goal. Impressive.
Also throwing his body around a little bit.
Yeah, we saw that. Cross-check.
And a pretty good hit early on in the hockey game along the near boards, right down near the Blue Jackets bench. Just underway here in the third. Johansson, Atkinson lets one fly. That's deflected out of play.
Sorry, I was just going to say Ryan Johansson has taken 11 faceoffs and only lost 3. So he's engaged in that department 73%. That's spectacular. Another one that jumps off the page after 2 periods. Nick Foligno. Not the natural centerman, but he's in there taking faceoffs tonight. 5 wins, 1 loss, 83% for Nick Foligno.
Behind the net. Oilers march out of their own zone. Rink-wide pass picked off. Here's Atkinson with a shot off the goalpost. How many goalposts have we seen on both sides of the ice tonight by both teams?
There's been at least 2 by each team.
Wow.
Maybe 3 by each team.
Savard on for Jack Johnson. Johnson drops it back Johansson. Johansson looks for Foligno. Broken up by the Oilers. Down the left wing. That's Pouliot. On here for Nugent Hopkins. Coming with speed. Quick shot. Oh, my. That one just trickled wide of the open corner. McElhinney made the initial stop and got away from him. Eberle walks in. A shot and a goal. He missed the first opportunity. He buries the second. Ryan Nugent Hopkins has tied it up.
Man, you talk about dynamic skaters, skill, speed. These 2 guys are the tandem up here in oil country. Eberle, Nugent Hopkins. A lot said about them on the way in here today, and for good reason. You watch the speed here. That's Nugent Hopkins after his shot. And then Eberle with the speed makes a nice little move around Anisimov. See Eberle comes in off the bench. There he is. Little move. And instead of taking on McElhinney himself, he dishes off to his buddy, who makes no mistake on the back door. An open net.
8th assist, 12 point in the last 6 games for Eberle. Nugent Hopkins extends his point scoring streak to 4 games. First goal. How about this? Nugent Hopkins averages the most minutes per game, time on ice, better than 21 among all forwards in the National Hockey League. And when you see the way he plays, you can understand why.
Yeah, and look at him there. He's just having a good old time on the bench. And that Eberle, I'm telling you, not a very big guy. But he leads the team in points, goals, assists, power play goals, and second in shots to Nugent Hopkins.
Hard to believe that Eberle went 18 games without a goal before scoring 4 in the previous 5. 18 games, a long time for a guy with that talent.
Yeah.
Approaching the 2-minute mark. Race for the puck. That's Schultz. Anisimov is there. Left ball. Right wing. Linkhammer can't get a stick on it. Curtis McElhinney. Left there for Ryan Murray. Ferentz. Drops it back. Nikitin takes a hit there. Ryan Craig. Now Nikitin gets the puck back. Off the wall onto the right wing. Oilers dump it deep into Jackets territory. Race for the puck there. Poke check, and alertly so there by McElhinney. Cycling out of the corner. Jackets will move up ice as Jared Bull hits Fedor Tyutin. 1 point away from tying Nikolai Zherdev for 4th most points in franchise history.
I thought you were going to say by a Russian.
No.
There's
McElhinney with the staff.
After this and every Blue Jackets game, stick around on Fox Sports Ohio as we break down the game. We talk to the players and Coach Richards on Blue Jackets Live, presented by IGS Energy. IGS Energy, take control of those natural gas costs. Enroll at IGSEnergy.com.
2:57 into this third period. Face off to the left with McElhinney. Line back out there, Eberle Pouliot. And in the pivot, Nugent Hopkins, who tied it up with his 20th of the season. Eberle draws the lone assist. Left ball. Away from Justin Schultz. Up high, David Savard. Floats one in, deflected wide. Dano, wraparound attempt. In the blue paint, Scrivens has got it. Play has been whistled down. Everybody jamming the front of the net.
Dano locked on with Pouliot here. Not backing down. Like to see that from the young rookie. Dano made a nice little play. Hartnell made a pass behind the net. It wasn't quite going to get there. Here it is. You see a stick on it. Dano with that subtle little pick, a Klefbom stick. That was a nice play. That enabled him to get that step on Klefbom. I love the way he took that puck all the way around the net and then back towards the front of it. Nice opportunity by those guys again.
Ryan Johansson will take the face-off here, wins it cleanly, gets it back to Dalton Prout, floats one through, Scrivens the save, and again he'll hold on.
It was interesting. I thought it was interesting in the open when you talked to John Davidson about Dano, and he said that he's finally in NHL shape, and how the KHL, which is that the league in Russia, they don't play very many games, they don't practice very much, so it's a different training regime. But here now, he's in more NHL North American shape.
Here comes Yakupov from a sharp angle. Stop made by McElhinney. He will hold on. 16:21 left. Third period, a 2-2 tie. Jackets with the first 2 goals. Savard and Johansson. Power play goal by Derek Roy. Midway through the second, and then in the third, Nugent Hopkins.
Oh, wow, look at that graphic that they just put up on the screen. All around that net.
Left wing pass. Carried into the zone. Anisimov, the shot against Scrivens, will just let that puck melt up in that glove and holds on.
He gave up the first goal and the first shot tonight, Scrivens, and it looked like the Blue Jackets were in control for most of the night, but too many penalty kills, too many trips to the penalty box, and letting the Edmonton Oilers hang around, who thought they let one slip in Columbus. They did have the lead in the third period. The Jackets tied it up and won it in that shootout. And that's been a sore point for them the last 5 days.
Long lead pass on the right side for Klinkhammer. This time the other goaltender will hold on. Curtis McElhinney sees Klinkhammer coming and freezes the puck. As we mentioned, our next telecast tomorrow night as we head further west to the Pacific Northwest. Vancouver, the Canucks, who won a big game last night over the Philadelphia Flyers. Todd Richards and the Jackets will be at GM Place in Vancouver, and we'll have all the action for you here on Fox Sports Ohio. A 7 o'clock start in Vancouver. 9:30 for the pregame in Columbus. 10 down. The opening faceoff.
No fooling around for these Jackets in town yesterday at 5 o'clock here in Edmonton. Game tonight at 8 o'clock start. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock start. And on to Calgary.
Calgary.
2 o'clock start, isn't it, on Saturday?
Yep, 4 o'clock Columbus time. They conclude the trip and then head home. Taking on Anaheim on Tuesday night. James Wisniewski, former Blue Jacket.
That's right.
Will be making an appearance. Hope to see you there.
I'll be there.
I know you will be. Hope to see a good crowd on hand. One of the teams that could be considered as a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. The likes of Getzlaf and Perry. You wouldn't miss it, would you?
No, I wouldn't miss it.
I didn't think so. Nikitin throws it behind the net. Hamilton knocked down by Letestu. Mark Letestu tried to feed Jared Bull. Long shot, rebound, Hamilton! Oh, the puck just got away from him. The crowd on their feet here. He had McElhinney beat, but just sent it wide, and Lander just looking at the heavens here himself. Can't believe he wasn't able to tuck that one home.
Not very many times do you see a guy with the puck just in on the goalie this close. He had the open net. There was one more step to this. Deep forehand, backhand. Just could not finish it off. McElhinney's going the other way. No dice.
Back in Edmonton territory. Schultz. Right wing feed. In front, unable to redirect it. Up high, Pouliot. That one off the blocker. McElhinney. Nugent Hopkins trying to feed Eberle. Turning away from traffic. Murray along the boards is able to backhand it ahead. Scotty Hartnell with Dano. Hartnell waits at the line. Hartnell shovels a backhand. Wenberg. Dano. And Schultz got just a piece of that. Justin Schultz able to keep it away. Penalty upcoming here. A hooking call. And again, the Jackets, for the 6th time tonight, will be a man short.
Well, nice opportunity there. Hartnell, Wenberg to Dano. And as that puck turned over in the offensive zone, Dano tried to get possession back, and as he did, there it is, big hook on it. Right there.
Oilers are 1 for 5 tonight. They've had 11 of their 32 shots while on the power play. Derek Roy winning the draw. Nikitin cross ice. On here to Pouliot. Pouliot turns away from traffic. McElhinney a little upset there with the bump in front. And here, able to catch that puck and hold on.
Join us at the R-Bar Tuesday night for the final Blue Jackets fan cam of the year. It's your chance to answer Blue Jackets trivia, win great prizes, and you can also be a part of Blue Jackets Live. We get started at 6 next Tuesday at the R-Bar.
And there is in the Blue Jackets jersey, Kevin Connaughton's older brother.
Don.
Younger brother?
It's Ohio State jacket on the left. Like Dave said, it's pretty
Letterman jacket, huh?
Yeah. sixth power play for the Edmonton Oilers here.
David Savard forcing the turnover up high, away from Pouliot. Foligno in pursuit. Nikitin keeps it away. Neil Yakupov now. In and across the line. He had a power play goal in Columbus Friday night. Foligno wins that battle but can't clear the zone. Nikitin up high. On to Derek Roy. Yakupov to the point. Nikitin lets one fly. That's off the pad of McElhaney. A little more than a minute left in the power play. Edged along to the far side. Yakupov. Pouliot. Former Ranger signing a 4-year deal as a free agent here this summer. Derek Roy, quick shot, off the backboard. Yakupov again. Tried to tuck it home. Jack Johnson defending. Jackets moving up and out. Both teams will change up. Jackets on the penalty kill. Oilers on the power play.
This penalty kill unit for the Columbus Blue Jackets has spent way too much time working tonight, Jeff. You think about how much it takes that bench out of sync.
Nugent Hopkins to the point. Gets it back. Purcell. Off the stick of Lander. Played there by Eberle. Eberle for Nugent Hopkins. Nugent Hopkins walks out off the stick of Wenberg. Chipped away. Race for the puck. Purcell will get there ahead of Wenberg. Wenberg not giving up on it. Purcell down to 4 seconds in the Dano penalty. Drop pass for Eberle from Nugent Hopkins, who gets it back. On here, this is Schultz moving in. A talented offensive defenseman below that goal line. Johansson hands it back to Tuch. On here for Marco Dano for Atkinson. Spins, turns up high, looks for Johansson. Johansson deals into the corner, played there by the Oilers. Clearing pass, sent into Columbus territory. Ryan Murray will play it. 11 minutes, 32 seconds remain. Third period regulation time. 2 shots in the just completed power play for Edmonton. That's 13 tonight on their 6-man power advantages. In the slot over top of the net, Gordon got a stick on it. Gordon left to cycle, tossed to the point. Marincin off the stick of Gordon. Handed here, Klinkhammer. He looked top shelf. Glove side, but it was high and wide. Oilers to the point. Marincin again. Shot blocked there by Bork, dropping in front of it. Right point. Fane. McElhaney's got it. Pushing and shoving. The net's been now dislodged. Players separated, some extra discussion, but no damage done. We'll be back.
Welcome back to Edmonton. Tight hockey game again, all tied at 2. Hey, right now on FoxSportsOhio.com. Check out our web minutes and see what's going on all around the state of Ohio. See how an Ohio boy's good deed did not go unnoticed by the Blue Jackets. Ray Borks has found a new beginning here in Columbus. Ray Borks, that is. And college football's most interesting man. It's all right now. Check it out. Brought to you by Safe Auto, 1-800-SafeAuto.com.
Curtis McElhaney sizing up this draw. It's amazing how focused he is on game days. When he's a starting goalie, he is locked in early. Some goalies you can talk to, you can interact with a little bit. There's none of that with Curtis. When he's in the net, he's locked in.
He's all business, isn't he?
For him, yeah.
Left bomb. Lets one fly. That's wide off the backboard. Scores. Yakupov cracking the puck down. And the Oilers had their first lead of the night.
Almost looked like a set play here. Watch this face-off win by the Edmonton Oilers as they get it back. They work it back to the point. Watch this. This shot, there's no real lane, but it's shot wide. Yakupov wastes no time with that puck. Watch it. Off the yellow, out the other side. That's something that this team may have worked on a time or two, because you have that guy on the weak side over there waiting for something to come out off the goalie. But in this case, no lane to the goaltender. Shoot it up the short side.
Yakupov's 12th, extending a point-scoring streak to 5 games. Yakupov, who under the new coach here, Todd Nelson, has thrived first overall pick, just ahead of Ryan Murray.
Well, you remember when we used to watch him play, Jeff. He was all over the place, skating 1,000 miles an hour, stick handling 1,000 miles an hour. His game has slowed down. He lets the game come to him a little bit more, and with that skill, that's scary.
9:15, time of the goal. Jared Bull. Jackets throw it in front. Letestu had it knocked away. Scrivens batting it out of the air. Up high. This is David Savard. Off the leg of Hamilton. Battle ensues in the corner. Jared Bull trying to fight off Lander. Knocked down. Keaton steers it ahead. Jack Johnson drops it back to Letestu. Letestu lets one fly. Scores! Mark Letestu. And just like that, the Alberta native has got the Jackets back in this one. We're tied at 3.
Well, you could see the jubilation on Mark Letestu as he celebrated with that goal. This fourth line has not had much going on, but this shift right here, after a goal, how important is it? I'll tell you how important it is. The momentum is in the building for the Edmonton Oilers. These guys spend the time in the offensive zone. Ryan Craig, Jared Bull go to the front of the net, and Mark Letestu wires one past Scrivens. Great shift by those guys.
His 7th. And nice to see the Jackets on the offensive end of a goal less than 2 minutes after the previous goal scored against them.
Yeah.
So we're tied at 3 here, just past the midway point of the third period. And Hartnell, we got the Jackets even in Columbus with these Oilers Friday night, marching into the zone. Pouliot knocking down Wenberg. Jack Johnson draws the lone assist. It was interesting to watch Jack Johnson there, Jody. After the goal by Yakupov, he huddled his teammates and then went individually to each player. Almost as if the Jackets, and it was Letestu out there at the time and his line mates, almost as if he said, hey, we're going to get this one back. We're going to get it now. And indeed, the Jackets did just that. So Letestu 7, Jack Johnson the assist, 10:09.
All tied up here at Rexall Place in Edmonton, Alberta. Looking at Jack Johnson and Mark Letestu connected on that last goal. Jack Johnson is the defenseman. Mark Letestu is covering for him. So Jack Johnson is up in the play a little bit, providing a little bit of offensive zone time. And you can see Jack Johnson in that instance gave the puck to Letestu, who was covering for him. And then, after he did that, went back to cover for Letestu. Great leader. You mentioned getting the guys together, not only in doing that, but in his play, too. He's had a big night. A lot of penalty kill time.
Good heads-up play there by McElhinney coming out. Klinkhammer darting down that right wing, but the poke check there by the Jackets. And we've got 8:50 left, third period regulation time. Jackets looking for their first victory here since 2010. The Oilers have won 6 straight against the Blue Jackets here at Rexall Place. Cam Atkinson, left wing feed. Clark, played by the Oilers in their own zone. Ference, Nikitin, off the skate there of Corey Trout. Yakupov dumps in. Derek Roy to the point. Nikitin, save McElhinney, off the pad, up into the glove, and holds on.
Get the best seats at the best prices for next season by becoming a Blue Jacket season ticket holder. Packages provide significant savings, exclusive events, and Stanley Cup playoff ticket priority. Plus, full season buyers will receive an autographed Nick Foligno, Ryan Johansson, NHL All-Star Game photo. Go now to BlueJackets.com.
From the drop, battle along the near wall, and it's Trop who lifts it up into Edmonton territory. Derek Roy, Nikitin, right wing. Oilers failed to gain the zone. Trop dumps it. Woodward Scrivens tried to bat it behind the net. And he will hold on here. He misfired there. Yeah. And he got some help from his teammates.
Yeah, well, he tried to underhand that kind of one-handed, and he just went over the top of the puck. And then the puck was laying there. Nice play by the Blue Jackets to recover it and try to get it past Scrivens, who saved his own hide by grabbing that puck himself.
5 shots in this third period for the Jackets. They've connected for 1 goal. 11 shots here in the third for the Oilers, who now have a 38-16 advantage. Everly can't get a stick on it. Jackets dump it back into their own zone. This is Murray. Rims it around the boards. In the slot, Pouliot shovels it over top of the net. Reaching for it. Nugent Hopkins. Pouliot. Oh boy, that one sent over top of the net. As the puck went right to Nugent Hopkins, and he rifled it high.
They batted it out of the air. A quick play. Just a great example of his hand-eye coordination on the backside of the net.
Everly pinned. Oilers send it up. This is Klefbom. Justin Schultz on for Eberle. Into the corner. Eberle takes it back from Nugent Hopkins. Pouliot gets it to the point for Klefbom. Another goal post. Man out of play.
That might have been redirected on the way in. Great puck possession by the Oilers in the offensive zone. Wow. That line in particular, boy, they've been dynamic down there. I think they've been down in the Blue Jackets zone all night. And that's the PNC game summary here in Edmonton. And there are no shots off the post highlighted tonight, Jeff, but there's been a few.
Several. On both ends.
That's right. And that man right there has been engaged, locked in here. Made some big saves early.
Hamilton battling along the board. Oilers send it back here for Ference. He'll let one fly, and that one redirected. Went over top of the net. Oilers again. Hamilton. Lander. Miller camped in front. Nikitin right in on the goaltender, and McElhinney makes the stop and hangs on.
Nikitin with that big shot. We don't see it there. He just kind of uses a wrist shot and gets it in. But boy, I'll tell you what, his first game back in the lineup, he's firing a lot of rubber towards Curtis McElhinney here tonight. You see him here, changes the angle, gets the shot through. Really hoping for the goal, of course, but if not that, a rebound. He got neither. Curtis McElhinney gobbles that up. Curtis here tapping his partner, Jack Johnson.
From the drop, David Savard sends it out to center. Handed ahead here. Hendricks off the blocker. Here's one, and that one drilled wide of the net. Fane unable to keep it in at the right point. Fane fights off the check from Ryan Johansson. Quick shot there. Block. Up high. Marincin. It's sent wide. Klinkhammer. Marincin lets it go. Deflected. McElhinney's knocked down. Back up on his feet. Gordon. Wade Gordon out of the corner. Protects that puck. Jack Johnson now holding off the Oilers forward. Hendricks talks to the official as play heads back up ice.
Well, yeah, he was locked up with McElhinney. I thought it looked like it was his fault, but he's trying to say that McElhinney is tied up with him. Interesting.
Trout lets one go. That one is blocked. Eric Roy off the wall. Saved at the line by Dalton Trout. Anisimov tried to feed Trout. The pass was behind him and hammered back into Columbus territory. Played by McElhinney and left there for Dalton Trout. Chased by Purcell. Artem Anisimov dancing out of his own zone. Looks off. Foligno on the left wing tries to walk to the net. Knocked away. Foligno will play it. Rims it around the wall. Cut off there by Justin Schultz. He's pressured by Anisimov, who wins the battle. Trout now. Right-handed shot on the left point. Sends it right back into the corner for Anisimov. On for Foligno. Handed back to Anisimov. Trout now. Long shot in front. Corey Trout can't pull the trigger. Circling the net. Looks up high, but that's Derek Roy right there. A little more than 4.5 minutes left, third period. Regulation time. Tilton. Head up. On for Dalton Prout. Reaching for it. Here's Pouliot kicking it ahead. Prout defends. Long shift for Dalton Prout here. He'll look to get off. And does. Both Murray and Connaughton on for Tootin and Prout. 4 minutes, 4 seconds left. Marching out of the zone. Here's Eberle. Eberle will dump in. Pouliot trying to steer it ahead. Murray read that play perfectly. Ryan Murray for Scotty Hartnell. Hartnell ahead for Dano. Dano on the wing. Connaughton. And momentarily looking over his shoulder was Scrivens. The puck got up in his paraphernalia and will step aside.
3:46 left in this third period. And big Dalton Prout, I'll tell you what, he's done some great things here. Poised under pressure. Big man checks his shoulder, looks at his options. He's got two guys on him. He finds Artem Anisimov, the veteran center in that little quiet area. Dalton made that look really easy. I'm telling you what, under pressure in the defensive zone, late in the game, tie game, it's easy to turn the puck over or do something you don't want to do. And there, he was in full control. I like to see that at Dalton Prout.
From the drop, battle ensues in that far circle. Klinkhammer to pick it up. Oilers dump in. Hendricks in pursuit. Klinkhammer is there as well. Fourth line currently out there for the Oilers. And Hendricks sends it up high. There's a shot. It's blocked. Oh boy, that one hurt. Ryan Johansson doubled over here right now as play is called. He took that one off the left foot.
That sounded kind of funny. He's not wearing any protectors on his skates. A lot of guys wear those plastic protectors. Here he is, left side. He's a left player. He gets that down low there. You see, he thinks about going after the puck, but he couldn't get his legs under him.
Trying to flex that off as he flexes that foot. Up high, there's a shot off the blocker of McElhinney. Along the wall, Dano on to Wenberg. Connaughton has moved in. The Edmonton native fires a shot. Wenberg along the board. Hartnell. A shot off the pad. Rebound. Wenberg looked for the handle. Taken away there by Purcell. 2:45 left. A 3-3 tie. Yakupov trying to settle down that bouncing puck. Gets it free to Roy. Purcell camped here along the near board. 20 giveaways by Edmonton tonight. The Blue Jackets have had 8. Battle here in the corner and played by Ryan Murray. Eberle off the bench. Hartnell at center. Oilers off the wall for Eberle. Waits for reinforcements. Nugent Hopkins settles down the bouncing puck in front. Oh, what an outstanding stop there. As it was redirected by Pouliot, but the right pad of McElhinney keeps this game even. Now Anisimov for Dano. Foligno tried to play it. Eberle. Chased by Anisimov. Out of the far side, Nikitin lifts it up and out. Bouncing puck on in. Icing. How about the big lots, big play tonight, Jody?
Well, it was the goal that tied this game up. Mark Letestu in the defensive position, sees good traffic in front, and finds a way to get that puck through all that traffic and past Ben Scrivens. There you heard it off the post. What a shot. Good to see that fourth line chip in. Tie this game up.
Now Ryan Johansson didn't miss a shift. He's back out there for the offensive zone faceoff with Bourque. Ready, Bourque? Cam Atkinson from the drop. Pouliot. And a golden opportunity. Look for that redirect. And McElhinney able to track it down with that right pass. Bouncing puck. Played by McElhinney and left right there for Feder Tootin. 90 seconds left. Hendricks with a forearm shiver on Tootin. Shot from a sharp angle. Around the boards. Cut off here by Hendricks. Hendricks looks to the right wing for Klinkhammer. Tootin defends. Klinkhammer trying to hold off the Jackets defender. Dalton Prout comes in. Knocking down both Tootin and Klinkhammer. And after the whistle, some pushing and shoving.
Yeah, it started in the neutral zone on the way up the ice. Hendricks and Dalton Prout got into it a little bit. Hendricks turned around and pointed at Prout with his stick. Prout looked like he invited him to drop the mitts, but Hendricks chose not to. Watch Dalton here. It's Klinkhammer. Who gets the worst of it? Oh, big better too.
Yeah, he did.
And there's Dalton coming in to address that situation with Hendricks. Giving him one more chance to oblige.
Face off to the left of Curtis McElhaney. 1:06 left. 44 shots by the Oilers tonight. Jackets with 18. No icing here. Scrivens with less than a minute to go in regulation. At Nationwide, it was a late goal by Scott Hartnell that sent the game to overtime. Tonight, Mark Letestu, after a Yakupov goal comes through. Look at this! Walking in, and Scrivens making a stop there on Marco Dano with yet another highlight reel play.
What a play. Slipped in there in the offensive zone. Him and Scrivens just couldn't slide it through the 5-hole.
Jack Johnson for Dano. Nugent Hopkins is there. Oilers, Yakupov. Backhanded and out of play. Watch Dano here. This youngster continues to impress, doesn't he?
Yeah, watch this. One-on-one. Quick little move through the skates. Oh, and then off the post. Had the goalie beat. And that's a big move on Klefbom there. Pulled Klefbom to the outside, walked through him. You can see his reaction as he saw that puck glance off the post.
Stepping up his Fing, the one-time New Jersey Devil, sends it wide of the net, takes a wicked bounce. I tell you, the Oilers are well aware of these lively boards here.
Yeah, they've anticipated those plays off those boards nicely. One leading to a goal.
Final seconds. And each team will pick up a point and will now play 4-on-4. No, not 3-on-3 yet. Still to be discussed by the competition committee, but we may see it next year. But 4-on-4, sudden death overtime when we come back. Tied at 3 after regulation. And a look at the respective coaches behind the Blue Jacket bench. Of course, Todd Richards and interim head coach Todd Nelson. As you got to look at the team's respective overtime records. And the Jackets have been outshot, and here is the differential overall. Take a look at that.
Wow. That's a large margin. Even look at the miss. Look at that's a lot of attempts. 73 compared to 35. McKeaton had 6 shots on net in this game himself, and I think he's had a few gone wide too. He could be up around the 10 attempt range.
Jody, what do you think of the decision by the general managers here this week in Boca Raton, Florida, that they've sent to the competition committee to talk of maybe 3-on-3 overtime?
You know what? It is exciting to watch it. I mean, even the 4-on-4 is great. You know, and you get to see with them changing sides like they just did now. The bench is further away. Makes it hard for the defensemen to change. But I like it. I mean, I also enjoy the shootout. I think it's a fun way to end the game, but I think the answer is in the point system.
Up high. This is Fing. McElhaney to stop as he sees it from the distance. And there's no further play. Well, there's no doubt if you go to 3-on-3, that will open things up.
Yeah, but why not just have 2 points for a win, no points for a loss?
You're preaching to the choir here.
I mean, you shouldn't get a point for a tie because a lot of teams, and they admit it, and I've been on benches where 10 minutes left in the game, up by a goal or tied. I mean, just cruise through. Let's just get the point.
Why don't you just give 3 points for a regulation win?
Yeah, fine. Just
if you're going to give that single point, make it 3 points for a regulation win. But that's not even being discussed. What the general managers have determined, they'd like to see more games decided prior to a shootout. And as a result, they have said to the players and the competition committee at that thought of 3-on-3. Quick shot, Stop made by McElhaney. And finally a whistle. 42 seconds in.
He got bumped there at the end. They kept that play alive a little bit. Too much time for that man. But here, how about this guy, Marco Dano? He's been engaged and involved all night long. Good plays around the net. He's been physical. He's been under the skin of the Edmonton Oilers. See that there, reverse shoulder. Ryan Murray looked like he took a stick on that play. Engaged defensively, not afraid to get down, stick his nose in there, and that was a inside-outside move that almost translated into a goal.
2 shots for the Oilers here in overtime. Wenberg. Dalton Prout. Right side, Johansson. Chips it by. Schultz hustles after. The 2 number 19s battle off of the corner. Hartnell coming in to help out. Here's Feder Tootin now on for Hartnell. Scotty Hartnell riding that goal-scoring streak into this hockey game. A 4-game streak, 5 goals. Here he is battling now below that goal line. Johansson comes up with it. Yakupov up but not out. Shot by Prout into the slot. Hartnell in pursuit. And Yakupov down the right wing. Speedy forward. Dumps it in the rest of the way. The Oilers will change up, as do the Jackets. Long stretch pass here for Hartnell into the shift. Pulls up on the right wing. Ference steps into him. Artem Anisimov now against his buddy there. Nikitin, who's not giving up on it. There's Connaughton. On here, a centering pass. And Ryan Murray, who was looking for that backdoor play, redirected it, but just wide. Oilers. Nikitin. D on for Ference. Less than 3 minutes left. Down the left wing, Eberle. With Pouliot. Chopped away. Murray to play it. Murray for Connaughton. Now Bork. Hit let one fly. No. Thought about it. Tossed it to Pouliot. Anisimov defending. Connaughton moving in. Nikitin long in the shift for him. Able to knock it away. Now Connaughton, Nikitin come together. Right wing Purcell. Bouncing puck up high. Drop the pass. Look at Dano walk in. Fires it over top of the net. Foligno wraparound attempt. No, he'll give it to Connaughton. Down the stop by Scrivens. And the Oilers now march out of the zone. Right side. Coming with speed. Here's Nugent Hopkins. Fires a shot. Saved there by McElhaney. Bouncing puck. Up in the air. Finally comes down. But out of play. Or did it? It came back after the play had been whistled down.
Dano was the only guy in the building who could see that. Watch this line. That was Dano with that quick shot. Foligno brings it back out front. And that's Kevin Connaughton. Boy, he's had a few opportunities on net tonight, too. From there, the Oilers went down on their own attack.
Wenberg, Johansson up front for the Jackets. Hopkins, Nugent Hopkins, and Eberle up front for the Oilers. Johansson wins the draw. David Savard for Johansson. Knocked down there by Klefbom. Picked up by Savard in the corner. Three shots for the Oilers here in overtime. One for the Jackets. Wenberg on the right wing. Alexander Wenberg for Johansson. Johansson out of the corner. Johansson hangs on. Jack Johnson looking for it. Now will pinch in. Bouncing puck. Scrivens fights that off. Ryan Johansson. Johansson away from Nugent Hopkins. Gets it back from Jack Johnson. 1:23 left. Right side, David Savard. Savard, alert play there by Eberle to knock it away from Johansson, who was poisoned. Able to play it off the wall. Savard back for Johansson. Ryan Johansson looking. Savard in off the point. Sends it off the side of the net. Nugent Hopkins late in the shift is able to clear it. And Johansson hustles back with less than a minute to go. Oilers get fresh legs on late in the shift here for Johansson. Jack Johnson's been out for some time. Here's Atkinson coming with speed. Atkinson 1-on-3. Knocked down. Foligno on it. Nick Foligno. A little spinorama across the line. And this one over the glass and out of play as it was redirected by the Oiler defender.
Well, Nick Foligno there comes on with that nice little move to get some time and space and does that, gets into the offensive zone, runs out of options, and then flips that puck that ends up going out of play.
38.4 seconds remain. Curtis McElhinney at the hash mark. Retreats. Prout, Tootin. D for Dalton Prout. Pressure coming there from Garrett Roy. Puck sent down the ice. Scrivens. Communicating with his defenseman. Jackets pressure. Oilers. Off a skate. Yakupov. Dropping it back. Marincin. Oh, he almost turned that one over.
He almost gave it right to Hartnell, and that forced an icing.
0.4 seconds remain.
Oh, they might take a look at that clock.
Think a few came off?
I think it might have rolled a little.
They're checking now.
Oh, I guess not. Now they've got 7.4, which I think might be a little too heavy. They've rounded it off, Jeff. 0.7. So there you go. Curtis McElhinney's on the bench. I'm not sure what you can do in 0.7 seconds, but we're going to find out here.
Wenberg will just direct it towards the net.
Yeah, you don't think you'll have time. Oh, it's up to 1.2, so now you've got a chance.
Well, what do you do? Now they're going to put McElhinney back in.
Why?
Because there's 1.2 as opposed to 0.7.
You can't, I mean... I don't know if you can score 1.2 on the other end, but...
Better be safe than sorry. Right?
I guess so.
They'll drop the puck here eventually.
Well, and then you have to think about the guy in the timekeeper, how quick his thumb is.
True. Puck is dropped. There it is, the horn, and we are headed to a shootout. These two teams played to a shootout in Columbus. It was decided by the shootout game-winning goal, the only goal scored in the shootout by Alexander Wenberg.
Very similar style of game. Blue Jackets score on the first shot of the game, let the Oilers hang around, give them 6 power plays, the Oilers cash in, and then the Blue Jackets score in the third period to tie it up. And if it's scripted like the last game, Jackets win it in the shootout, but we'll see here tonight.
Whatever you do, do not go to bed after this game. Stick around on Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1 because we've got highlights of every other NHL game tonight. And NCAA tournament starts, well, later on today, and Fox Sports 1 covers it like no one else. Live from Las Vegas. Check it out, Fox Sports 1 tonight on Fox Sports Live, or the other way around.
You mentioned Wenberg with the game winner last game. The only goal scored in that shootout.
Right.
Let's see if things change here again. Scrivens has that style, remember? He lines up sideways for the shooter.
Oilers' choice. Who shoots first? And the Oilers have suggested that the Jackets shoot first. So Mark Letestu. 3 in shootouts. Down the left side, the right-handed shot moving in. Denied.
Nice little move by Letestu. Kept it on the ice, didn't raise it up. Tried to backhand that. That's just, usually guys set up and shoot forehand, but that backhand shot's a little more deceiving. Didn't fool Scrivens.
Nugent Hopkins, 1 for 4, 25%. Will now shoot for Edmonton. Their first shooter. Nugent Hopkins moving in, denied.
Nugent Hopkins, left-handed shot, went with the shot here on McElhinney, who stood tall. Here he is, head up the whole way, flicks that shot. McElhinney's there to block it with his glove. Here comes Ryan Johansson.
Ryan Johansson deciding the game in Carolina last week with the game-deciding goal.
You saw his numbers. He comes quickly. He'll slow it down. And the backhand beats Scriven. 1-0 Blue Jackets.
He's got that patent move where he leaves the puck on the front of his stick and waits for the goalie to make a move. It's got to be hard for the goalies to wait that long. He's got to see Scrivens make that move before Johansson does. Johansson reacts and puts him in the back of the net.
Jordan Eberle, second shooter for these Oilers. And here comes Eberle. Right-handed shot moving in. Fakes, shoots, and scores. Goes 5-hole. We're tied at 1.
Yeah, a few little moves there. Head fakes, stick handling, a lot going on. McElhinney tries to stay with it, but quick release from Eberle beats him.
So Wenberg has an opportunity again. Maybe give the Jackets the win. Tied at 1, third shooter. Alexander Wenberg beats Scrivens in Columbus at Nationwide Friday night. He slows it down and backhands.
Wow, what a goal.
How about that?
Top shelf, made it look easy. He's had a fantastic game too. So skilled, creates time and space. Here he is. Gets his eyes up. He knows what he wants to do. Put his little round the world there over the puck. And then backhand top shelf.
Jackets need a save here. Derek Roy, the shooter. Roy coming quickly. Waits. Roy denied. Takes a second shot. Curtis McElhinney improves his record against the Oilers to 5-0. The Jackets win as Curtis McElhinney saw the smile on his face. One more look at it.
And Derek Roy thought he saw a little daylight there. Look at this. There's Curtis.
How about that reaction?
Feel good.
So the Jackets, who have not won here since January 7th of 2010, end a 6-game losing streak. They win their 4th in a row on the road. And for the 6th straight game on the road, they score at least 3 goals. Jackets win this one.